You need to mince up some onion and garlic, and that's about all the prep work you need to do, which is really nice on a weeknight. Or in a week morning, like that's when I cook, week mornings. So mince your onion or dice it small in any case. I like to make sure that it's as fine as I possibly can because it's not gonna get sauteed before it goes into your turkey mixture, so make it as small as possible. This is when having a sharp knife is pretty important, and as I'm doing this, I'm realizing my knife is sharp, but it's not as sharp as it could be. I need to sharpen it. The sharper your knife is, the less you chance hurting yourself, the less this happens. These little sliding out pieces, they happen when your knife's not sliding through the onion that well. I'm gonna definitely sharpen it right after this. So you need a half an onion. This onion was really big. When I say half an onion, I usually mean about a half a cup of minced or chopped onion, and I think that this is plenty, so that's all I'm gonna use. And then 2 cloves of garlic, minced as well. This is 1.5 pounds of ground turkey. Just add your garlic and onion directly to that. Calls for half a teaspoon of fine salt. I use kosher salt, so I'm doubling it. It's usually about double fine. And a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. Stir that around. It's probably easier to use your hands for this, but I'm gonna try not to. If you really like your onions super fine like I do, and I should have thought of this before I started mincing, you can grate your onion, which causes a lot of tears, but is very, very fine and sort of dissolves into your meatball. Gives it great flavor, but you don't have any of the texture. Now you want to cook your meatballs. You need to have them in an oven-proof skillet because they're going to start on top of the stove and finish in the oven. Have the oven preheating at 375, add some oil, and then you can form the meatballs. I'm just gonna take a scoop and drop them in. Pan is hot enough now, so I'm adding my meatballs. If you need to do this in batches, you can, but I think in a pretty big skillet, you shouldn't have a problem fitting most of them in. As they brown and form a crust, you should easily be able to turn them without them sticking. So make sure that you wait until they're ready to be turned, or you could end up with a mess. I'm actually really proud of myself. I just put all of these meatballs in there, mixed the whole thing, and I didn't get my hands dirty. And I'm pretty sure I didn't overmix it, which is the cardinal sin with meatballs because you don't want them to get tough. When all your meatballs are browned on all sides, you want to finish baking them in the 375 oven. So get them in the oven for about 5 minutes, and then you can make your glaze and then finish for 5 more minutes. For the glaze, you'll need 2 tablespoons of honey. Combine that with 2 teaspoons of minced chipotle in adobo and about 2 teaspoons of cider vinegar. Stir. And then when your meatballs have been in the oven for 5 minutes, take them out. Add your chipotle honey mixture. Sort of toss them around so they get coated, and then they can go back into the oven for another 5 minutes just to finish cooking through and to get a little bit glazed. Glazy. This is a very, very flavorful sauce, so it's not going to be oozing with sauce, but it is going to be very flavorful. So these can go back into the oven for 5 minutes. Give them one more little turn. It's reduced probably just a little bit in the 5 minutes it's been in the oven, but you can see how shiny and delightful they look. I'm just going to stand here eating them out of the pan. Spicy, sweet, savory, perfection. Give it a try.